Hello and welcome to another video that we're going to be doing here to discuss something that I think we all saw coming in a way. We'll still be hit with a lot of sadness because of it, especially after a very emotional weekend with Ipswich Town securing promotion to the Premier League. But it was confirmed that last night's awards dinner that Sone Aluko will be retiring from football. Sone Aluko, someone that hasn't been able to play too much this season, but has still played a big part in what Ipswich Town have done of securing promotion from League One into the Championship and then going from the Championship into the Premier League. Ends his time at Portman Road with 59 appearances and 4 goals in all competitions. And speaking last night, said, "I couldn't think of a better place to end my career. From top to bottom, the club is amazing, and it's been a privilege to be here. I've not played as much as I would have liked, but this has still been the best year of my career. All of the lads, I love every one of you, even you, Harry Clark." I think that kind of sums up who he is as a person. But Ross Hall's with me here. You've seen him throughout his entire time in Suffolk. Talk me through kind of your main memories of his playing days here at Ipswich.
Yeah. As you said at the start, no surprise that he's retired. He's 35 now and he's not played as much. But yeah, Sone Aluko. What can't you say about him? Because he's been a great player, great just person to be around, like an experienced player. And obviously he signed back in 2021, part of that Demolition Man summer, 19 summer signings. And it was one of those more experienced players dropping down to League One. And I will admit, his debut wasn't great. And I think he probably admit that. He looked a bit rusty against Newport. But then I think a lot of players in that game didn't do great. And obviously we lost that game. And obviously that was still a transitional period, all the new signings trying to bed in. And then, he sort of grew into it. And obviously we're going to talk about his sort of early spell of that season was where he played more of his games, to be fair. Obviously McKenna came in. But I want to quickly mention AJ. It also connected to Cambridge. Obviously, his 4 goals he scored for Town, 2 of them were against Cambridge. In that 2-2 draw, we were 2-0 up. First half, we were cruising. 2 really good goals from Shawnee. And then we drew 2-2, which wasn't great. But it was a moment where Shawnee really sort of stood up and go, "We've got Sone Aluko here. What game for him? Good, good performance. 2 good goals." And then 3 days later, he scored in the Portsmouth game to make it 3 goals in 2 games. And it was an incredible, 4-0 win at Fratton Park. A really good night. And good, 3 days for Sone Aluko getting those 3 goals. But yeah, as a whole, his Town career, he just showed he's just a great person. He's got the ability. Obviously, he's playing at the highest level. And I can be here all day, AJ, talking about different moments. But I think in that early period, in that 2021-22 season, he showed a lot of his ability. But obviously, the last 2 years, he's played a bit of a part on the pitch, but off the pitch, he's been a key member of that coaching staff as well.
Yeah, that 4th goal, of course, came earlier this season in the Carabao Cup. He wrapped up a 2-0 win against Bristol Rovers. And all in all, he actually played quite a big part in Town's quite deep run into the Carabao Cup, I'd say. I believe he played at Reading, played against Wolves in that famous night. We have to call it a famous night, really, where Town were 2-0 down and came back to win that one 3-2. Who remembers the Jack Taylor screamer? And then also got to captain his team against his former club, Fulham, as well, which I think was a really nice touch. And you look back at his career as one that he almost kind of feels a bit like a cult hero, I feel. And it's not just, that'll be at Ipswich for sure, but I think it will stretch far beyond the realms of Suffolk. He didn't get to play at his boyhood club, Birmingham City, but after that had a spell at Aberdeen on loan and then went to Blackpool. I think it was that Aberdeen spell that probably kick-started his career because that's what earned him the permanent move up there, and then ended up at Rangers, where he got 12 goals in 21 league games. That's remarkable. That's what ended up moving him to Hull. Obviously, one of the best moments in his playing career, A, being in the Premier League, and B, being able to reach the FA Cup final, a game that I remember watching thinking, I was really sad that Hull didn't win that. Then moved to Fulham and then to Reading, had 4 years at Reading, ended up going to, I'm going to butcher this, Beijing Renhe, seemingly, a now defunct club in China, before coming to Portman Road. And as well, you look at his international career, player that's been a regular at England youth levels, has then been at Nigerian youth levels as well, had 7 caps for Nigeria, 2 goals. yes, there's kind of this bubble within Ipswich that we are going to look at, obviously, and we have to, and that's what we and the fans will remember him as. But he has a pretty distinguished career, one that I think spans about 17 years all in all.
Yeah, he's had I'd say when we originally signed him in 2021, I thought that was obviously we've made so many signings in that summer. We've already spoken about it at length, but I think it was actually like a lot of fans were like, "Oh, we're happy about that." Maybe it was like, "Do we actually need him?" Because that was like another attacker. But I think just that experience that we maybe needed, and obviously I don't think he's ever played League One football, not from my knowledge. Obviously played in the Scottish Premiership and stuff like that, and obviously he's been mainly a Championship player, but has played in the Premier League, obviously with Hull. But yeah, he of course was part of that team last year that won promotion, and yeah, he's just been a sort of key person behind the scenes as well as in the AJ. We hear about him being part of that analyst team, watching from above, and then he goes in at half time and tell McKenna and the players what he's seen. But yeah, what a career! I'm sure he looks back at his career with a lot of fondness. And he's probably very happy to end his career with another promotion to the Premier League. Obviously, you mentioned with Hull, but yeah, going back to that FA Cup game, I remember watching that and thinking, well, Arsenal obviously they took, it was ages, wasn't it, for them to win a trophy with Arsenal under Arsenal Wenger, and Hull was like they're on their way to win it, and then they of course scored late goals, and it was Aaron Ramsey maybe who scored the winner in the end for them. I think it was him or someone else, but anyway, a long time ago. Not my team. So, but yeah, Sone Aluko, I'm sure he'll look back at his career with fondness, and yeah, going from, I think I remember seeing actually, I think he had a trial at Juventus when he was doing really well at Rangers. So yeah, he's had a career I'm sure he'll look back with fondness, as I said.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that a key part of him has to be how he is as a person. I got a couple of opportunities to talk to him, and you can see that there's such a calmness about him, and you feel calm talking to him. There's no kind of intimidating presence. He's someone that will take anything that you say and ask seriously, and I think that must really be important with young players. I spoke at length to him about the kind of behind the scenes role that he's had. We spoke before the Maidstone game. He was put up for press, and he gave a really detailed kind of explanation of what his role is. Not really an official role, but it's a lot of standing alongside the analysts. I think they're giving him a fairly detailed run through of what they're doing. He then goes into the dressing room at half time. He's got the lads saying, "Oh, how can I kind of impact the game more?" So I think when you look at half time being a really important time for Ipswich and what Kieran McKenna is able to change, I think Sone Aluko has actually played a big part in that as well, being able to watch the games just in front of where we sit in the press box. I think that's been important to him. And yeah, being able to talk through that with him was really, really nice. Being able to kind of get his insight on the game, and also how Kieran McKenna is in the dressing room. And it'll be interesting now to see what his next step is going to be. Is that going to be a route he wants to go down? I asked him that in January, and he said it's keeping his options open. That's a big thing, and he wants to get to the end of the season and then make that decision. I mean, obviously, I think he had an idea back then. It was probably going to be the final few months of his playing career. Being able to keep the options open in terms of what he wants to do, whether that be coaching, whether that be, who knows, something like punditry. But the analyst side of things as well seems to be quite an interesting bit for him. Do you think that there is maybe a future, in terms of that side of things, and also at Ipswich Town for him?
Yeah, you'd think there would be a role for him at the club, because he's been part of that, set up. Even last year he was doing a lot of it. Maybe this year, obviously, he got that 1 year extension, and maybe he just got told, yeah, you're going to maybe bit part player this season, but you're still going to be so important. You can even see all the players putting in their stories on social media saying, what a man Sone Aluko is. And I want to quickly bring up, actually, AJ, there's a clip that did the round when this got announced, but against Burnley last year in the FA Cup, he basically took on I think 5 or 6 players. It was the replay at Turf Moor, and he just took on unbelievable tech, as they call it back in the day. But yeah, he took on all the players. There's a really good clip there. But yeah, he's gonna be a good asset to any club. I'm sure Sone, as a person, but also a coach. Obviously, we know a lot of the players are currently doing their coaching. The PFA and stuff like that have been going in, and UEFA and stuff like that, trying to get their licenses, because they know, football is a short career in playing, but obviously if you can get coaching, as early as possible, it's best possibly, to do that. But no, obviously we had the funny little thing about how to pronounce his name. Obviously we were calling him wrong the whole time. It was, Sone Aluko were calling him, but then one day I think someone asked him, how do you say it? And he went, oh, it's Shawnee. So obviously now it's Sone Aluko, but that was a nice little funny thing. But no, all the best to him, and we'll see what the future holds for him.
Yeah, a really impressive career from Sone Aluko. There's some real highs in there, and I think it's really impressive that he's been able to sign off his career with back-to-back promotions. We'll see what the future holds, but as Ross said, all the best to him.